Radio 95.3 FM and 1350 AM. The Ticket. It's time for the Bronco Nation News Report with four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains.
Good stuff, Prater in the Ballgame. Yeah, we're shuffling some stuff around. BJ has some breaking news we wanted to get to for the BNN Report every Friday here, so we bumped this thing up a little bit. So appreciate everyone on our video audience. That's our YouTube channel and forms of social media. And joining us on our Double Tap Pub hotline is BJ Rains right now. BJ, appreciate you hopping on with us and break us some news, bud.
Yeah, I don't think it should be a huge surprise to anybody, but was able to confirm and just posted a story to BroncoNationNews.com that Boise State is in fact going to go with Taylen Green tomorrow as a starting quarterback. So I think the bigger surprise, bigger shocker would have been Madsen getting the start. And my understanding is that Taylen Green took the majority, if not all, the first team reps, down the stretch this week, and Taylen Green will start. And I think Maddox Madsen will play. Actually, I know Maddox Madsen will play, but my understanding is there is no perceived plan. It's going to be see how the game is going, see who's doing better, and how the game is going is going to determine who gets the playing time, as the game goes on. But Green expected to start.
Yeah, and appreciate you breaking that news there, BJ. And no huge surprise, but there's going to be pressure wherever you play, right? If Taylen Green were to start, obviously he is. There's going to be pressure to play well and to hope that if he doesn't play well, the Mad Dog comes in and plays well. Then all of a sudden that gets shaky. What do you think is going through Taylen Green's head on this? Maybe the pressure from Mad Dog maybe had him have a better week at practice.
Yeah, I've talked to some people that said he had a great week at practice, and let's be honest here. The first drive of the game, the second drive of the game, these are two of the biggest drives in Taylen Green's career here. I mean, if they don't put up some points and move the ball, and then Maddox Madsen comes in and leads them down for a touchdown, I mean, that might be all she wrote. So there is a lot of pressure on Taylen Green. And, when you are the starting quarterback and you go out for that first drive, you do get the scripted plays. You get the game plan. The first, 10, 15 plays they're going to run. So Taylen Green has an advantage, and they're going to do everything they can, I'm sure, to give him some early success. But Taylen Green can feel it. I'm sure he knows the pressure. He knows Maddox Madsen's taking some of his playing time and is pushing him. And he really, really, really needs to get off to a hot start. Because like I said, if he were to struggle and then Maddox comes in, then you get the crowd either cheering or booing which guy they want. I mean, the whole thing's going to be crazy tomorrow. And there's a lot riding on it for Taylen Green. He really, really needs to get off to a hot start and move the ball those first couple of drives.
BJ Rains, Bronco Nation News Report. We do it right here on Idaho Sports Talk every Friday. Today, BJ just breaking a story. Taylen Green will start tomorrow, 6 o'clock, San Jose State at Albertson Stadium. Full report at Bronco Nation News, our media partner. BJ, in terms of the Maddox Madsen, and I think you had a couple of words in your story, which we're all just kind of reading for the first time here. What is the idea for him to start? Any plan? I mean, not start to play. Any plan? Or are they just going to kind of wing it?
I think they don't have a set plan other than he is going to get in the game at some point. I mean, I like, as you guys have seen, usually that backup quarterback gets the third series. I don't know if that's 100% as to what they plan to do. I know that they plan to play him in the game, but my understanding and kind of what I've been told is that they're going to let the game dictate the playing time as the game goes on. So if one guy does better than the other, that's the guy that may get a chance to play, later in the game. So both guys are going to get a chance. And I think we'll see. But as they, they're both going to play. As the game progresses, that might dictate who plays more. And so I think we'll just kind of see what happens. But Green's going to start. I still think it's, whether I don't know if I buy, and maybe you guys buy or not, the whole every play they could change guys. I think that was a Bush Hamden trying to, worry the other team type thing. I would be pretty surprised tomorrow. Maybe once they get in this flow, a couple games down the line where the two quarterbacks are both used to playing, but I don't think it does either quarterback any good on second down to bring in one guy and then on third down to run the other guy back out there. So I would be a little surprised if they tried that part of it. But they're going to get Maddox Madsen in the game. They like what he can do. They want to see him play. I'm just guessing it's probably that third series. Who knows? And then give them each a couple series and see who deserves to go from there. But I think this was the expected outcome. I know a lot of fans lately have been really pulling for Maddox Madsen. It's been a big talking point, topic. But if you're just looking at this, logically and rationally, I don't think Taylen Green had done enough to lose the starting spot, especially if you're going to play both of them anyway. And this was the expected outcome, I think, by a lot of us, that Taylen Green will maintain as the starter, at least for tomorrow.
Yeah, and I agree with you. As long as it's kind of status quo, I did want to see Madsen play for an entire game because I'm not sure how much we're going to learn from him on game day. Maybe the coaches learned enough during the practice week that they have some more information. I'm curious as to what you said earlier about practice. You said Taylen Green played great at practice this week and got a majority of the reps as the practices continued throughout the week. Taylen Green has never been labeled as a bad practice player. I've never heard anybody say that. So I think he's a good practice player. Do we really expect a different-looking, much improved Taylen Green to show up tomorrow?
I personally think Taylen Green is going to play better, but I don't know if that's because of just in practice, if they change something or if they're working with them. I mean, let's be honest. You look at the stats for Taylen Green this year, and they're not great. I mean, barely over 50% completion percentage, as you guys know, on the passes. Anybody that just looks at the passing could make the argument that when Madsen came in, he was hitting more guys in stride, more passes over the middle that were getting bigger gains. I mean, we have all seen the same stuff, and the stats are not great. And when you have as many interceptions as you do, touchdowns, 5 games into the season, that's not great for Taylen Green. So in terms of what we're going to see that's different or better, I mean, I'm sure Bush Hampton, I'm sure they're going to try to early on get some easy throws, get some easy completions, try to get some confidence, get the ball moving. But let's be honest, the best way for them to score points and move the ball is turn around and hand it to number 2. So I think that they're going to ride Ashton Genty and heavy in this game. But I think that, sure, Bush, they're going to have a game plan. I think that's one of the reasons, frankly, why Taylen is probably starting. They want to they have those scripted plays, have the game plan set where they can get some easy throws, get some completions, get his confidence going, and then let it go. But, what the very interesting thing will be is what if Boise State goes down and scores touchdowns on their first 2 drives with Taylen Green, and they had they had planned the third series to go to Madsen at that point. I just think that how they handle this with what their plan is versus what happens on the field tomorrow. There's a lot of different scenarios, good and bad, for either quarterback that I think are going to be really interesting to, as they say, watch it play out.
I don't think those scenarios are going to happen, but I hope they do. I mean, Taylen Green's opening possession this year has been dog crap. I think has it been 5 punts, Prater, or is there a turnover in there too? They don't start well. If they do, that'll be a terrific surprise, I think. BJ, when Prater asked Bush earlier this week about Taylen Green's confidence, and Bush said it's okay.
I think it was just okay. Yeah.
What did you make of that?
Not ideal, not what you're wanting to hear, that he's admitting that it's just okay. But I don't think that should be a huge surprise to anybody. I mean, the fact that he admitted it is the surprise. But I mean, how could he be confident with how things are going? And he's standing on the sideline watching the backup quarterback lead the team down the field in the fourth quarter and maybe take his starting spot. So, I mean, the stats just haven't been there. And again, did we in the media overhype Taylen Green, or has he underperformed? And it's probably somewhere in the middle. But Taylen Green has not played to the level that I think a lot of us expected and thought he would play this year, and himself included probably. He came in with hopes of really tearing it up, being the Mountain West Player of the Year and getting even more NIL deals and becoming a star and putting himself going into next year to be, one of the top quarterbacks in the country. And now here he is 5 games, maybe in jeopardy of losing his job at some point here. So it doesn't surprise me that his confidence isn't high. I mean, he's not having success and questioning himself, and fans are questioning him. But like I said, I think that'll be a big key for Bush Hampton early in the game to get him that confidence back and move the ball down the field. These are, I said it already, but these are as important of a drive or two for him and for Boise State's offense that we can remember in a long, long time here. They really, really need some points early in this game.
BJ, we've talked a lot this year about how Taylen Green's been playing football. The fans want him to run more, to get his superpower back. The coaches are trying to make him a pocket passer. The happy balance is somewhere in between there because of the development of Madsen, because of what happened this week. Do we expect Taylen Green's game to change anymore, i.e. run more and do what the fans want? They're not going to make the change because that's what the fans want, but maybe they feel more comfortable letting Taylen Green run the ball more if they have a pretty comfortable security blanket behind him.
Yeah, that's certainly an option because, that's one of the reasons was you didn't want to get him hurt because you weren't sure what you had behind him. And if you feel like you have a 1A and 1B situation here, well, then, let's play to Taylen Green's strengths. I mean, he's averaging 5.1 yards per carry this year. So I know he hasn't run to the point that some people would have wanted. He rushed for over 7 yards a carry last year. I get it. But, I mean, that is the weapon that he has. And so when you have Ashton Genty and there's all this talk on a lot of the DNs, and they're splitting out so wide to try to take things away on the outside from Taylen Green. But at some point you have to adapt and change things up. So I think some designed runs tomorrow is certainly something you'll see. I think there'll be some encouragement on some of the read option stuff to keep it some. I mean, they got to move the ball however they can. And I also think Taylen Green is going to say, like, I got to do whatever I can to put up points here if I want to stay on the field. So, if that means him pulling it and running and taking things into his own hands here, I certainly think there's a big chance that could happen tomorrow.
How do you think the crowd's going to react to all this? I mean, is one guy going to get louder cheers? I don't think anybody's going to get booed. That was a sad situation. What happened to Bachmeier in that same case, and hopefully nothing stupid like that goes on. But I wonder if the crowd's just going to embrace this 2-quarterback system, cheer on both of them. Hopefully they both play well, BJ. We talked with Montel Cozart on this show yesterday, and they did make it work in 2017 on that team that you covered. They had two guys who played every single week, and they won a Mountain West championship in a bowl game against Oregon. I mean, is that the scenario? I mean, is that best case scenario here? I guess I'll just throw you that question that both of them play well. I mean, right?
I think Taylen Green will certainly get big cheers when they announce the starting lineups. But I think when Maddox Madsen trots on for that first play or that first drive, I think he's going to get big cheers as well. The whole 2 QB system and all that, like, I want to let this play out because right now I would put the over-under tomorrow on 70%. I don't know if you guys know where I'm going on that, but I've got Taylen Green playing 70% of the snaps tomorrow. I don't know where you guys think that's high, that's low. I think it may even be higher. I mean, I think this is going to be a little overblown. Once we get into the game, I think Maddox Madsen's going to get a couple series, but I think Taylen Green, in my opinion, because I'm expecting him to play well. Now, if it goes downhill, Maddox Madsen takes over, they're just going to let him ride with it. But if Taylen Green plays well like I'm expecting him to, I personally feel like Taylen Green is going to get the majority of the snaps in tomorrow's game.
Yeah, that could certainly happen, but he has to be playing well for that to happen. And, let's be honest, last couple games are certainly, I mean, they played well in the first half last week against Memphis, having that 17-0 lead on that. BJ, what's the coverage looking like for Bronco Nation News? You got that big pregame, obviously your postgame and articles all over the place. Give us the lowdown on BNN.
Yeah, 9 a.m. tomorrow, special morning edition, 9 a.m. We'll have former offensive line coach Brad Bedell, who's now back living in Boise and recruited a lot of these O-linemen, and Kent Riddle will both join me live at 9 a.m. for a special broadcast tomorrow on the BNN channels for a pregame show. Hopefully you'll check that out. We'll have coverage of the basketball scrimmage at 3:30 tomorrow, and then full postgame show after the game as well. So, yeah, full coverage online, BroncoNationNews.com, and all of our social media channels, and including the YouTube channel. And I think, guys, it just comes down to this. When do you take right now having to win this game, this moment, versus how that impacts the long-term future of your program? And it's a tough decision for Andy Avalos and the coaching staff. But the first decision is they'll at least start with Green tomorrow.
Yep. Appreciate you breaking that story, BJ. Great stuff on BNN. And we appreciate you coming on, as always, every Friday for the BNN Report. Well done.
Yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow in the press box. Thanks.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Good seeing BJ tomorrow, Prater.
That opening drive, we've talked about Boise State going 0-for-5 on opening drives this year. I did just check. All 5 of them were punts.
Yes.
And first drive, Washington, 3 plays. First drive, Central Florida, 8. First drive, North Dakota, 4 plays. First drive, San Diego State, 4 plays. First drive, Memphis, 6 plays. So somewhere around 4 or 5 plays. That first drive is as they've averaged. Have not. They've only picked up, I think, 1 or 2 first downs.
2 by that math. There.
Yeah. So it is absolutely crucial. Keep an eye on that first drive tomorrow. Not only is that important for this football game, but I think it's more important for Taylen Green's confidence. That's been the word of the week. Taylen Green, his confidence. If he can come out and lead this football team, even down for a field goal, I think that's going to really, really kickstart him. If they have to punt on the first opening possession for Boise State, here we go again.
Stacy's available, Prater. Hey,
the Mad Dog's available.
Shea Oladipo is going to talk about all the pressure that is under this Boise State defense to perform. And Shea Oladipo doesn't hold much back talking. A lot of performance, a lot of pressure on the performance for this defense tomorrow. That's our video segment. And as always, it's brought to you by the Dollar Loan Center, funding loans for 25 years. Go to don'tbebroke.com. They're quick, inexpensive, safe, regulated, and thrilled to be opening 16 locations right here in the state of Idaho. That's don'tbebroke.com. Let's get to the news, JPZ.
This is Idaho Sports Talk with Prater and the Ballgame on 95.3 FM.